Hi folks, welcome to your mwis Friday Planner in association with Ellis Brigham. It's still a very unsettled story through this weekend, and do be aware of the very wet ground conditions and ongoing flooding situation that will be in place for some regions, particularly the Lake District. We've got some colder conditions increasingly moving across Britain into the new week, and with that comes some more wintry conditions across our mountains. Let's start then with a look at those temperatures. This is the freezing level. It's the height we find 0 Celsius in metres. And as we go into Saturday, it's already rather chilly across many of the higher mountains in Scotland. The freezing level around 1,200 to 1,300 metres across the west and northwest Highlands. So the Ben Nevis summit, for example, hovering around freezing point. Showers that fall then will have some sleet and snow across the Munros. Taking things onwards through into Sunday, and we stick with a similar sort of story across Scotland. It's around 1,300 metres or so, the freezing level across the Highlands, dropping a little bit later in the day, and that drop will continue into next week as we get nearer to 1,000 metres, maybe even 800 or 900 metres at times, as colder pulses of air get drawn around from the northwest. So the Munros will be commonly near or just below freezing point. And as we take things onwards through Monday into Tuesday and the middle of the week, we stay with these generally chilly conditions across the higher mountains. It's typically around 1,000 metres to 1,200 metres through Tuesday. By the time we get to Wednesday, that freezing level is a bit lower. We're nearer to 900 or 1,000 metres, and that drop of temperature even being felt across northern England and Wales, where the very highest summits will be close to freezing point. It'll stay on the chilly side into the second half of the week, although temperatures will just tend to lift a little bit as we head Thursday into Friday, as the wind flows start to turn a bit more to the west. Synoptic chart for Saturday looks like this. We have another frontal system moving its way through, some heavy rain in the morning. That will clear with some brighter skies, some showers following from the west, heaviest of the rain being taken away eastwards off into the North Sea by the afternoon. Wind speeds will vary quite considerably and for periods still up to gale force. Let's tell that story of wind through the weekend, and this chart shows wind speeds corresponding to the higher mountains of Britain and the wind from the south on this chart first thing on Saturday morning. Where we're into the purples, those are speeds around 40 to 50 miles per hour. Those strongest winds taken eastwards across the Pennines early on Saturday, a bit of a lull coming through, a decreasing of winds at least, maybe just still quite gusty around showers as it switches west-southwesterly in the afternoon, comparatively lighter winds for much of the Highlands for a good part of the day. The sequence then almost repeats itself through into Sunday with strengthening winds from the south-southwest in the early hours, 40 to 50 miles per hour, not even 60 miles per hour for a time around dawn for England and Wales and the south of Scotland. Those strongest winds taken eastwards through the morning, but it stays a blustery day across England and Wales, switching southwesterly as we head onwards through into the afternoon, and still could be reaching gale force for periods 40 to 50 miles per hour for the tops of Snowdonia and into the Lake District through Sunday afternoon. Showing a bit of a lull across the Highlands, we need to watch exactly the centre of low pressure that moves northwards as to whether we do genuinely get anything of a sustained lull. Keep an eye on the forecast detail for that one. Your rainfall sequence goes like this, starting at dawn on Saturday morning, that rain tracking north and eastwards across England, Wales and across Scotland too. Breaking up from the west, still a legacy of some showers will be left behind, but it is that story of improvement through the day on Saturday. And as we take the story onwards through into the early hours of Sunday, here's the next weather system with some further rain setting in heavily across England and Wales. We're going in 3-hour steps here, and that's another very wet spell to come in the early part of Sunday daytime. Heaviest rain taken northwards through into Scotland, the eastern side of the Highlands particularly, as the wind flow comes in there off the North Sea. The heaviest rain clearing for England and Wales, but further clusters of showers will set in again across western hills around Wales and the Lake District. There's Sunday's synoptic chart with the area of low pressure across the country, fronts sweeping north and eastwards with rain extensive for a time. And as we saw with temperatures being at or below freezing point on the Scottish Munros, some sleet or some snow on the highest tops there. The far northwest of the Highlands perhaps escaping the driest of all through the day. Into the new week, and we have low pressure still on the scene for Monday. A windy day for all, again the risk of gales across many mountains. A showery day, some more organised spells of rain, sleet and upland snow across the Highlands. That all circulating around low pressure, and some frequent showers being drawn in from the west across England and Wales. Mostly rain here, some hail mixed in occasionally maybe, and some sleet on the very highest tops. Tuesday sees the wind flow a little bit more northwesterly and just lowering those temperatures somewhat. A scattering of showers coming southwards, most frequent on windward coasts across the Northwest Highlands and around some Irish Sea coasts into Wales as well. More central parts of the Highlands looking drier, maybe something on a front shifting southwards across England and Wales, giving some showers for a time, but also some bright and some sunny spells for the Pennines and the Peak District at times through the day. Not quite as windy, but still a distinct chill where exposed on high tops. The wind flow is north or northwesterly into Wednesday. Some showers spreading from the north, again some snow and some hail. By this stage coming down to lower elevations across the Highlands, around 600-700 metres and above is where we're typically expecting to see some snow falling, lying across the Munros in northern parts. Further south across the Highlands, somewhat more sheltered, a few showers from time to time, and some shower bands running in off the Irish Sea into Wales. One or two may graze into the Peak District and perhaps the lakes, but down the spine of the Pennines, largely a dry, bright and sunny day. Quite a cold one though, and particularly where exposed to that wind, distinctly chilly across the mountains. So we're drawing in northerlies through the middle of the week, and Wednesday into Thursday keeps that story, with the risk of some frost overnight in sheltered valleys and glens. High pressure lies to the west of us, and it just then allows the wind flow to turn a little bit more westerly as we head towards the end of the week, just allowing temperatures to lift somewhat. A quieter weather story compared to what we've seen in recent times, as that high has some influence for a while. Bit of uncertainty by next weekend though, because the indications suggest low pressure around Iceland starts to move back towards us, so the risk of some fronts coming back in from the Atlantic. Milder conditions coming back for a time at least, although I think the longer range story still favours something cooler to be more common. The wind flow coming in as a westerly, I suspect, as we go further through the weekend. Some rain and some showers, maybe again turning wintry across the higher mountains in Scotland at least. The general trend for the following week, that's the average for the week as a whole up until the 15th of November, suggests that higher than average pressure is across England and Wales, so something drier in this part of the world. Fairly average conditions for Scotland. Lower pressure is taken a bit further northwards around Iceland, so the idea of a westerly flow coming in, but maybe just conditions not quite as deeply unsettled as what we've seen, and some ridges of higher pressure coming through, so some quieter, drier days with some frost overnight, some fog patches around. Still though, the odd day where a frontal system comes through for something a bit more mixed. So not completely settled, but just looking a little bit quieter as we head further into November. Keep up to date then with your latest local information every day on the mwis website. That is your Friday planner in association with Ellis Brigham. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.